What's the number one personal finance skill, but also the most dreaded topic? Today on Prep Air, we're going to get at it, budgeting, to show how you can gain control of your money. Let's face it, people are terrible at budgeting because they don't know how to do it. But we're going to take this on so you'll understand how money can work for you, and you can show others how responsible you are. Budgeting is important for you and others. A National Institute of Health study for Richer for Poorer determined that money issues were the most pervasive and the most problematic and the most recurring marital problem, despite attempts at trying to solve it. And of course, this stress carries into the whole family, regardless of the amount of money available. This is often due to disagreements about values, what's important and why. So let's improve your relationship with money and with others by creating a value-based spending system. We all wonder, do I have enough money? When considering heirs, many grantors simply dictate a specific amount. That should be enough. But is it enough? How should these amounts be determined? Well, it starts with a budget. When tackling a budget, most people review their past spending, filling each line item by category and then scrutinizing it to decide what's reasonable, and then project that total, setting expectations as the form of control. And maybe they'll compare their projection versus actual through software like QuickBooks, but then they abandon it pretty quickly. Why? This approach isn't structured. All those line items are competing with each other. Which ones take priority, and how do you accommodate the unexpected transaction which is inevitably going to occur without coming down all judgy? Budgeting simply doesn't work this way. A budget should be a system for decision-making to prioritize your spending, not just categorizing what was spent. I strongly recommend you need a budget and its methodology. First, forget about future money. You can think ahead, but don't include future money. Start with survival. Where does your money need to go? Food, dwelling, taxes, and insurance? These are non-negotiables. Fund these obligations first, and you'll become more careful about constraining yourself with them. Also, challenge your assumptions about needs. Do you need to buy everything at Whole Foods? This isn't about depriving yourself along the way, though. Just consider how changes can improve the quality of your life. Next up, debt. It steals your freedom to spend, so be careful. Is the thing that you're buying with debt going to go down in value? If so, it's probably a bad use of debt. After you've funded these obligations, begin allocating for living expenses, transportation, supplies, subscriptions, and activities, and partially fund for some reserves for things like maintenance and repairs. Then set aside some money for fun, no questions asked, for little things. For bigger expenses, break them into monthly funding amounts, and be sure to target the infrequent costs that just stress you out. See if you can pace the funding over time instead of incurring stress and debt along the way. Also, begin funding aspirational goals. These could be for an upcoming vacation, for beauty and renovations, or for gifts. Do this until all your current money is allocated. And to be clear, I'm talking about your cash balances, not your trust and retirement plan balances, though you'll want to set some money aside to keep funding those too. Ultimately, you'll see that you're only partially filled. You came up short. So that's where you're at. Now expenses start rolling in. Money's being spent from these allocations and your balances are going down, as expected. But then you also get money from earnings or interest, or from your trust and retirement plan's auto-withdrawal program for periodic income. All this income just goes into the category ready to assign. So repeat the process every month. Refill your obligations, your living expenses, your reserves, and then your goals. With time, you'll notice over and underspending patterns. So just adjust your budget to get real, and your priorities will shift. After a year, you'll have a seasonal comparison for better reference, comparing last May to this May. But it's not that simple, because along the way, Inevitably, a big expense will occur and it can destroy your plans. But it must be dealt with, and the money's got to come from somewhere. You have to raid your money allocations and you're forced to squeeze your budget. It's painful. Your priorities change based on your values. That's the point. Now you're operating based on values. When my wife and I started doing this, it was difficult. She thought I was scrutinizing her every spend, and I was, because I was classifying each transaction, which is part of the process. She would joke to others about me being overbearing. But seriously, it was hard for us, and at times tearful. But fast forward, and now she's the budget master. See, she realizes control offers freedom. And we meet up monthly, and our conversations have evolved to planning vacations and supporting each other's goals. We're comparing and respecting our values. And it's rewarding to allocate for each other and for our kids, and we're having honest conversations along the way. We can shop with intent and without guilt. Our finances are organized, making things easy to locate, especially during tax time. But more importantly, we can actually see how money moves us closer to our goals and each other. So budgeting isn't a thing, it's a system of control and communication. To get your system going, check out You Need a Budget website to help automate your budgeting system. Here's a link. I highly recommend it. If you like this info, check out our other episodes and subscribe as we cover more financial topics and challenges to help increase your return on life. Until then, keep building.